ready to sell more, but like actually work less.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It sounds like a dream come true.
Well, we're diving deep today into 90-second success tips by Scott Schilling.
Okay.
It's this playbook packed with 104 potent strategies.
104.
Yeah, to like totally level up your sales game.
All right. So what's the secret sauce? What makes these tips so special?
Well, it's not your typical, rah-rah sales stuff.
Okay. So what's different?
Schilling actually like flips the script.
How so?
He reframes this whole idea of selling
Uh-huh.
as an act of service.
Interesting.
So instead of pushing products, we're actually helping people.
Okay. So it's less about like closing the deal at any cost
Exactly.
and more about genuinely understanding your prospect's needs.
Yeah, and presenting solutions that like actually benefit them.
So it's a win-win.
Totally. Both parties feel good about it.
That makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
especially for people who are already service-oriented.
Oh, I was just thinking that, like folks in healthcare or nonprofits.
Yeah, even the arts. Totally. They might shy away from those, aggressive sales tactics.
Right, because their core values center around helping others.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
this approach really clicks for them.
It's like speaking their language.
But honestly, wouldn't this benefit anyone?
Yeah, I think so.
Even in a more traditional sales environment.
I mean, who doesn't appreciate genuine service? Right.
Exactly.
And that sense of mutual benefit.
So where do we even begin with these 104 tips?
Well, Schilling kicks things off with the ASSET approach.
What's that stand for?
It stands for a spontaneous servant every time.
I love that.
It's all about consistently exceeding expectations and finding those little opportunities to add value.
So less about being slick and salesy.
Right. More about becoming that trusted advisor.
Someone people genuinely want to work with.
Exactly. And when you
Mhm.
do that, clients are naturally drawn to you.
Okay, so the selling is serving philosophy and the ASAP approach, I get it.
Yeah.
But what about the actual nuts and bolts, the presentation?
Oh, he's got you covered.
Does he give any guidance on that?
He goes deep into presentation strategies,
Okay.
emphasizing the importance of knowing your audience.
Tailoring the message to them,
Exactly.
their needs, their business model,
He even talks about different learning styles:
like visual learners versus auditory.
visual, auditory, and kinesthetic.
Oh, wow.
So you can present the information in a way that really resonates.
So true. You could have the best product in the world, but if you can't communicate it,
It's going nowhere.
it's useless.
And that's where simple language comes in.
Ditch the jargon.
Ditch the jargon. Clear, concise explanations that anyone can grasp.
Building that connection, not trying to impress with buzzwords.
And don't forget your voice.
Oh yeah, the tone.
Tone and inflection. Add depth and emotion to your words.
So it's about engaging their imagination, helping them visualize.
Schilling calls it creating emotional word pictures.
Oh, I like that.
Vivid imagery, relatable analogies.
So they can see themselves benefiting.
Exactly. You're telling a story.
Stories are way more memorable.
Way more memorable than bullet points.
Speaking of memorable, what about objections?
Oh, those are inevitable, right?
Every time.
No matter how good your presentation is, people are going to have concerns.
Yeah, you got to be ready for it.
Schilling provides strategies for navigating those tricky waters.
Like what?
He emphasizes active listening
Without getting defensive.
without getting defensive, really trying to understand their perspective.
Sometimes those objections actually highlight something you hadn't even thought of.
Absolutely. And addressing those concerns thoughtfully can often be the key to closing the deal.
Makes sense.
And for those really hesitant prospects, there's a technique called the Franklin Balance Sheet Close.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is that?
It's a visual exercise where prospects weigh the pros and cons.
Like literally writing them down.
You create a list, advantages on one side, disadvantages on the other.
Oh, that's a really clear way to see it.
It often reveals that the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages.
So they can make a more informed decision.
Exactly, more confident. It's a method that Benjamin Franklin himself used,
Hence the name.
hence the name.
So we've talked about authenticity, understanding motivations, using those dynamic presentation techniques,
Right.
even handling those objections gracefully. Anything else you would highlight?
Schilling really emphasizes the power of passion.
Oh, yeah, like genuine enthusiasm.
When you truly believe in what you're offering, that energy is contagious.
Enthusiasm sells.
It does.
People can feel when you're genuinely excited,
Exactly. It's the difference between reading a script and sharing a story from the heart.
which brings us to relationships.
Relationships, absolutely.
How do we cultivate those strong bonds?
First, Schilling reminds us that time is our most valuable asset.
Oh, for sure.
He encourages focusing on high leverage activities.
Things that give you the biggest bang for your buck.
The tasks that generate the greatest return on your investment of time and energy.
So being strategic.
Being strategic. Qualifying prospects carefully.
Making sure they're a good fit.
Right, because chasing every lead can lead to burnout.
Oh, for sure.
Wasted effort.
Beyond that,
It's about expressing genuine interest.
in your prospects as people.
Take the time to understand their interests, their goals, their challenges.
Human connection.
Exactly. Going beyond the transactional.
And then becoming a resource for them.
Sharing your knowledge. Establishing yourself as a trusted expert.
So you're not just selling, you're providing value.
You become someone they can rely on.
And that leads to those long-term relationships.
The kind that leads to lasting success.
Sounds like those relationships are key to sustainable growth.
Absolutely. And to help you achieve that, Schilling lays out a 5-step formula.
Hit me with it.
He calls it DREAM.
DREAM.
It stands for define your vision, research and develop a plan, execute with passion, analyze your results, and modify and re-execute.
So it's a roadmap to make those dreams a reality.
Exactly.
Starting with clarity.
Knowing exactly what you want to accomplish. Then doing your research.
Crafting that plan.
And crucially, taking action with passion.
Got to put in the work.
You do.
Yeah.
And just as important, analyzing what's working, what's not.
Making adjustments as you go.
Adapting your approach. It's an ongoing process.
So it's not one and done, it's a cycle.
A cycle of growth and evolution.
Is there anything else in the book that speaks to that idea?
Yes, he introduces the cycle of success.
What's that?
It outlines this iterative process of market identification, engagement, performance evaluation, and passionate reinvestment.
Break that down for me.
Okay. It starts with identifying your target market, understanding their needs and motivations.
Okay.
Then you engage with them effectively.
Showcasing the value you offer.
Then you honestly evaluate your performance.
What's working and what's not.
Exactly. And you use that knowledge to refine your approach.
Always improving.
Finally, you reinvest that knowledge back into the process.
With even more passion.
Exactly. It's a continuous loop of learning, adapting, and evolving.
Sounds like a powerful framework for growth.
It is for achieving long-term sustainable success in any field, really. It really does seem like he's created this really comprehensive guide
I'm with you.
to selling successfully that goes way beyond just closing deals.
It's more holistic.
Yeah, more about relationships, making a difference.
I love that.
Oh.
And speaking of making a difference, I'm kind of curious about this DREAM formula.
Oh, yeah.
Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure.
I'm especially interested in that analyze and modify part.
Okay, so let's say you've defined your vision.
Right.
Maybe it's building a loyal client base for your coaching business. You've researched your target market, created a plan, launched your services with passion.
Right. So you're doing all the things.
Now it's time to analyze.
Okay. So take a step back and look at what's working and what's not.
Exactly. Are your marketing efforts attracting the right clients?
Make sense?
Are your services actually meeting their needs?
Are you growing like you thought you would?
Right. This is where honesty is key.
And a willingness to make adjustments.
Absolutely.
So being flexible,
Adapting to the ever-changing landscape.
not being afraid to course correct.
That's the modify and re-execute part. Maybe your pricing isn't quite right.
Or your marketing message isn't hitting the mark.
Right. So you use that feedback.
Refine, tweak.
Relaunch with renewed focus
It's a continuous loop.
of learning and improvement.
I love it. You know, one of the things that really stuck with me from the book was that line, hell on earth is meeting the man I could have been.
Wow. Yeah, that's a powerful one.
What do you think he means by that?
I think it's a call to action.
A reminder to step into our full potential.
Yeah, to really embrace the journey.
Are we playing it safe?
Or are we boldly chasing those dreams?
It really makes you examine your choices.
It does.
Are we settling or are we striving for excellence?
And it ties back to that idea of selling as service.
How so?
When we embrace our potential, we're not just selling a product or a service.
What are we doing?
We're sharing our gifts. We're making a contribution.
There's that deeper purpose.
It's about aligning our actions with our values.
And creating a positive impact.
Yes.
So we've covered so much.
I have.
From mindset to practical techniques.
Like the Franklin balance sheet close.
The DREAM formula.
It really is an incredible toolkit for success, not just in sales, but in life.
So true.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to implement everything at once.
Oh, absolutely not. Pick one thing.
One thing that speaks to you.
Put it into practice, see what happens.
Experiment, adapt.
Find what works.
It's about those small steps, building momentum,
Right.
creating lasting change,
And it's important to remember that success is a journey.
not a destination.
There will be bumps along the way.
Challenges, setbacks.
But with the right mindset, a commitment to learning, and a willingness to embrace the process, we can achieve amazing things.
Couldn't agree more. As we're talking about this, I just realized there's another important point that Schilling raises that we haven't really touched on yet.
Oh, what's that?
He talks about honesty,
Hmm.
truthful communication,
It seems straightforward.
but I bet there's more to it.
There is. He warns against exaggeration,
Oh, God.
inflating the truth.
Making promises you can't keep,
Right. Those tactics might seem tempting for a quick win.
but they erode trust.
They damage your reputation.
In the long run, authenticity and integrity matter more.
Exactly. Building your success on honesty and transparency is key.
People are more forgiving of mistakes than deception.
Absolutely. Be someone people can rely on.
Someone with their best interests at heart.
That kind of reputation is priceless.
It sounds like this isn't just a tactic, it's a core principle for him.
It is. Without integrity, success is meaningless.
It's like a house built on sand.
It might look good at first, but it won't last.
So as we head into the final part of our deep dive,
Yep.
I want you to consider how you can bring more integrity into your interactions.
Both personally and professionally.
Because it's in those everyday choices that we shape our character.
And create a legacy worth remembering.
It's amazing how much of this applies to communication in general,
I know, right?
not just sales. It's
Yeah.
really about connecting with people.
Exactly. And you know what? Schilling actually talks about that.
Oh, really?
A lot of the book is about how these principles go way beyond sales.
I'd love to hear more about that. What does he say?
Well, he talks about the importance of knowing your audience, no matter who you're talking to,
Right, like speaking your language,
understanding their perspective,
whether it's clients or colleagues,
even loved ones.
strangers,
It's like you're putting on different hats.
adjusting your style to fit the situation.
And just like with selling, the more you practice, the easier it gets.
It becomes more natural.
Right.
I guess it's about being more aware of how we're coming across.
Thinking about how others are receiving our message.
Being willing to adjust.
Exactly. It's a two-way street. You're not just talking at them.
You're listening.
You're responding.
That active listening part is so important, isn't it?
It really is. It builds trust.
Shows you genuinely care.
That you're not just trying to push your own agenda
And when people feel heard, they're more open.
to what you have to say.
Exactly.
It creates space for collaboration.
Finding solutions that work for everyone.
You know what else I was thinking about?
What's that?
That Franklin balance sheet close.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's not just for sales.
You think it could apply to other areas of life,
Absolutely. Anytime you're facing a tough decision,
personal or professional.
just list out the pros and cons.
It can help bring clarity.
It helps you make a more informed choice.
So whether you're deciding on a new job or where to go on vacation,
It can help you weigh your options more objectively.
because sometimes our emotions get in the way,
They cloud our judgment.
make us do things that aren't in our best interest.
So take that pause. Create that visual. Make a conscious decision.
Rather than just reacting impulsively.
Right.
You know what's really striking me as we're talking about all this?
What's that?
It's like these tips are just reflections of good character.
Strong values
The things that make you successful in sales.
are the same things that make you a good person.
It's like they're just nuggets of wisdom for life.
Be authentic. Build connections. Communicate clearly.
Pursue your goals with passion.
It's about living a more fulfilling life.
It's not just about selling more.
It's about making a positive impact.
I love that.
And I think that's the most valuable takeaway from all this.
So as you go about your day today, we encourage you to think about how you can apply these principles
These tips, these nuggets of wisdom,
to enhance your interactions, strengthen your relationships.
create a more fulfilling and impactful life.
Because success isn't just about what you achieve.
It's about who you become along the way.